Hey everyone, welcome to Mr. Holland Reviews, where I am so excited to review this next book. This book is called Knuffle Bunny 2, The Case of Mistaken Identity by Mo Willems, and oh my gosh, there's so much to start with. But anyway, so I'm going to approach this like I would if I was teaching this or reading this book to my students in kindergarten. And we're going to break it down by its elements, okay? So Mo Willems, this is one of his series of books. The Knuffle Bunny 2 is the second book in this series called The Knuffle Bunny, which is why he calls it Knuffle Bunny 2, which means also whatever. This word is very important. So, two, this word two does not mean the number two, which you would think, oh, well, this is called Knuffle Bunny 2 because it's the second Knuffle Bunny book. But this is actually called Knuffle Bunny 2, and this two means also. And the reason why he does that is because there's another Knuffle Bunny in this book. So he's not saying Knuffle Bunny 2 is in the number 2. He's saying this is Knuffle Bunny 2 or Knuffle Bunny also because of the other bunny in this book. Lots of things that I said, but really what it comes down to is in the story, there are your characters. There's Trixie, Knuffle Bunny, Mom, Dad, and there's another character in here called Sonia. And Sonia is this girl in Trixie's pre-K class who also has a Knuffle Bunny. The mistaken identity is a little bit off of what I predicted. What I thought in the preview of this video was that the Knuffle Bunny would get mixed up with a bunch of other Knuffle Bunnies, but there is really just one. And so one of the things that struck me in this book is when I was reading it, it's like, okay, so how do they end up knowing? Because there's a part in this book where in the middle of the night, Trixie, she realizes that it's not her bunny. She said, that's not my bunny. And I'm like, how do you know that? And so, I mean, if they're both the same, then how would we even tell? But I did notice something as I was looking at the pictures. It wasn't in the words, it was in the pictures. So even though your teachers will say, we need to learn how to read the words, the pictures are just as important to help us put together what's going on. And if you notice, this Knuffle Bunny that Sonia has pink in the ears, and the Knuffle Bunny that Trixie has blue. And so that was real. I didn't realize that. And then when I was looking, I was like, okay, well, look at this bunny has pink ears. And that's what really helped me figure out, like, oh, that's how she would know. Although you would have kind of argue, like, well, maybe she didn't really notice because she was sleeping. But, like, you kind of know, like, if you have something like a stuffed animal for a long time, it has a certain smell, it has a certain feel because of how you use it. So she would have probably like felt, when it's kind of funny to see her sleeping like this, but like when she's looking at it, like it does, if it doesn't feel right, if something doesn't feel right, then you kind of start going, what's wrong? And so she figured that out. So the problem was is they got mixed up, and the solution was that, of course, Dad's got to solve the problem. So Sonia's dad actually figured it out too and called and said, we need a switch. So they leave in the middle of the night, which is so crazy to me because I don't know if I would do that. But they live in a city, and this is actually a landmark of a particular city, which I won't spoil. Maybe you can do some research to figure it out. But they live in a particular city in an area, and so they use this as a meeting point. And if you look in the picture real close, you can see Sonia and her dad down there, and you can see Trixie and her dad right here. And it's a huge picture, so you have to look very closely. But that's what I love about Mo Willems' books is that he uses a real picture of a real place, and he just puts his illustrations in there. And it's very small in this picture, but like in this picture, it's again a real place with them, in the picture, that kind of thing. Another thing I wanted to point out, and I won't do too many of these because I want you to go back and look forward, is that he's using similar pictures as he did in the other book. So when he says that they're going on a walk, like this is a picture that he used in his other book to show that they live in the same neighborhood. And the word bubble is kind of funny too. Sometimes I read just the words that the author wants us to read, but then I also go back and read the other words. But I just wanted to read it because it was kind of funny how she was talking. Because in the other book, she didn't know how to talk until her first words were. I'll have you go back to those videos and figure out what it is. But he uses the same picture of the school. And as I'm looking at them walking, this looks like a school I've taught in before and been in. And then one thing I noticed when before I read it was that it says "Welcome to Pre-K" on this door right here. And so that kind of helped me see, oh, well, she's going into like preschool. Um, and then like on the next page, it says that it's in her pre-K class. But like I see a resource officer there and the teachers and other parents walking. And this picture of the classroom actually looks like a real classroom with real pictures of kids right there and the real bins that kids put their stuff in. So, like, all that kind of stuff gets me really excited because they use a real place. But there's so much to talk about in this book, and I can't do it all in one video. So hopefully, if you really like this book, and you liked Mo Willems and his depictions of this, there's also Easter eggs in here. He made other pictures of other characters that he has wrote about in different stories. So I really encourage you to talk to your parents about maybe looking at this book at the library or asking your teacher to read these books to you because they're very exciting. And in my next video, you're going to see that I'm actually going to read the third book in this series. So hopefully you tune into that. But until then, I will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.